The following is a special live presentation of Retro Sports Network. Home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. I'm Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for the 14th day of September 2022. It is Game 2 of our American League Championship Series for 1985. And if you're a California Angel fan, it has to get better, doesn't it? They didn't really do anything right in their 12-1 thrashing by the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 1. They couldn't field. The bullpen really couldn't pitch all that well until Urbano Lugo threw 4 2/3 of his fantastic baseball. They made base running blunders. They kind of hit okay in the end. They left on 7 runners. But the defense and the base running errors, mental errors, and actual errors really were the Angels' undoing, because by the time we got to the 4th inning, it was 12-1 Toronto, who seemed to do everything right. Despite a shaky, nervous start by Dave Stieb, he settled in and ended up striking out 1 man per inning, and Jim Acker came in to close it off. So let's start with the good news for Toronto. It is Doyle Alexander, who was a 20-game winner in this replay. He gets the ball on a cold, and I mean it's a cold day here in Toronto, 54 degrees, winds blowing out to center at 5 miles an hour. It is for the fit and the fittest out here on Lake Ontario today. No changes outside of the pitchers in the lineup, and I want to go through my reasoning here for this. First of all, it's a right-handed pitcher for California, so there's no reason to change around Toronto's lineup. They produced 12 runs in Game 1. For California, offense really wasn't the problem. That's what they did in the field that was the problem. And so after going through and talking with you guys at the end of Game 1, the consensus was if Mike Witt was ready to pitch, he would get the call in Game 2. Well, he is not ready to pitch. He is listed as 90S, which means he could throw 90 pitches, but the game considers him to be on short rest. And I'm sorry, down 1-0 in the series is not the end of the world, especially in a best of 7. So the other best piece of advice I got was go with a pitcher who has the longest endurance. And that is going to be Ron Romanek, who I thought was going to pitch Game 2 right from the get-go. He is good for 120 pitches. The Angels have Don Sutton. The Angels have John Candelaria if I need to bring him in there. So that's that for that. But Romanek and his 120 pitches should get him through 7 if the Angels play well and give California the best chance. So that's the setup for you. Oh, yeah, and oh, by the way, 20-game winner Doyle Alexander goes for the Blue Jays. It's cold, as we said, 54 degrees. The Blue Jays are red hot. And so, as we said, for the Angels, it can't get any worse than the first 3 innings yesterday. It can only go up from there. And if they're lucky, and if they play a lot smarter baseball, they can go back to California and Disneyland tied up. If you're ready, I am too. As Retro Sports Network presents the 1985 American League Championship Series. Today, live from Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, Ontario, it is Game 2 with the Blue Jays leading the Toronto Blue Jays, the champions of the East, leading the California Angels, champions of the West, 1-0. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. Matt, how you doing? Zalapsky Smurf is already here. You freaked out, you and your wife, yesterday. You answered my lineup PowerPoint question right after. I knew you wouldn't know that because you weren't around before, but yeah, all those slides are done in PowerPoint, and they change for each game. Takes about an hour to do. And so, yes, I have your ESPN right for you. So it is Doyle Alexander on the mound. As soon as I put the mouse in the right spot, come on. On the mound, thank you, for the Blue Jays. Let's start with what he did against the Angels. He killed them. In 3 regular season starts, Alexander went 22 2/3, allowed 16 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 10 walks, and 3 strikeouts. That might be a bonus for the Angels, but he went 3-0 with an earned run average of 0.79. His last start came 5 days ago against the Yankees. That's last Saturday of the season. The Yankees beat the Jays 7-6. He had no decision. 7 innings, 135 pitches for Alexander. 10 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and struck out 3. So overall, I mean, this is pretty much a Cy Young candidate year, although it is Dave Stieb who won the award. 207, or will win it. 274 1/3 for Alexander. 271 hits, 112 runs, 103 earned, 33 homers, 78 walks, and 114 strikeouts. So if the Angels are patient, they can do the job. And so here's how the Angels will line up for Game 2. Same lineup except for the pitcher as last night. Gary Pettis. Boy, he needs to have a better second game. He's your center fielder. He's leading off. Rod Carew had a good game in Game 1. He'll bat second and play first. Brian Downing in left will hit third. Reggie Jackson is a DH. He cleans up. Doug DeCinces at third will bat fifth. Bobby Gridge at second goes sixth. Matt giving me grief already in the chat. Juan Beniquez in right field will bat seventh. Dick Schofield at short goes eighth. Bob Boone behind the plate. He was ejected from yesterday's game in the 5th inning. They kind of expect Bob to behave himself and catch the full 9. And Ron Romanek was borrowed off his Buena Vista High School team to come in to pitch this one. And if you're worried about Romanek, look, he pitched the clincher last week against Kansas City. He should be fine. That's true. Giving yourself grief. I read it now. Don't give me credit, Matt says. Give your wife credit. If you don't, for the credit stuff she didn't do, you'll end up doing... Aww. Anyway. Here's how the Blue Jays line up the same as they did last night. Bell a 5 and a 5 in left. Mosby a 5 and a 4 in center. Barfield an 8 and a 10 in right. Mullenix a 3 at third. Fernandez an 8 at short. Garcia a 4 at second. Upshaw a 6 at first. Witt a 6 and a 3 behind the plate. And Alexander a 7 on the mound with a .984 fielding percentage. Pettis 1 for 4 in Game 1. He struck out twice and drove in a run. And again, for the Angels, it cannot get any worse than what they did the first 3 innings last night. Alexander winds and deals. Ground ball to short. Fernandez over to first. And that's how this one will start. The Blue Jays turned 2 double plays, and they were big because the Angels loaded the bases in the first and got nothing. She ran away spooked. How much does she understand your hobby? I mean, we are replaying a fake baseball game from 37 years ago. That or she saw my picture, one of the two. Rod Carew, in this unexpected playoff run for Rod, went 2 for 3 in Game 1 with a walk. Alexander's pitch, ball 4. So Carew continues to do well. Here's Brian Downing. Downing walked twice yesterday and went 0 for 1. Also got hit by a pitch. So the key for the Angels is just be patient. It's just one game. And remember, we're playing best of 7, not best of 5. Ground ball up the middle should be 2. Fernandez Garcia for 1 over to Upshaw. And that's another double play. And so the Angels No runs, no hits, no errors. After half an inning, it's no score. So the kid from California will get the big start for the Angels, and this will be the lineup he'll face. Damaso Garcia leads off at second base. Lloyd Moseby in center will bat second. George Bell, he had 5 RBI last night. He's in left, he bats third. Willie Upshaw, who I think got the short end of the stick in real life in the late part of the season, had a good game one. He's at first base, cleaning up. Jesse Barfield in right will bat fifth. Barfield was one of the few Blue Jays who did nothing last night. Ernie Witt hit a big home run in the third. He's behind the plate. He'll go sixth. Lance Mullenix at third will bat seventh. D. Scott Howard sent me the picture of Al Oliver. They finally gave him a Blue Jays uniform. How about that? He'll be the DH batting eighth. And Tony Fernandez will bat ninth at short, while Dwell Alexander gets the call as the Jays pitcher tonight. Ron is a household name in your house? Is your name Ron as well? So Romantic, 31 starts on the replay. His second against the Blue Jays is now. He went 9 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs all earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts, and he got the win. And if you're wondering about his stuff in a big game, well, in the clincher against the Royals 8 days ago, he went 7 innings, threw 117 pitches, allowed 7 hits and 1 earned run. He walked 4 while striking out 1. So overall, 233 in the third innings, 236 hits, 99 runs, 90 earned, 28 homers. He walked 72 while striking out 74. He is 25 years old. Don't let that baby face fool you. Fastball pitcher at 85 rather, and a standard pitcher. And so the defense behind him needs to do a better job. Brian Downing is 7-3 in left. Gary Pettis in this cold day on Lake Ontario wearing the ski mask in center. He's a 9-9. Juan Benica is a 3-9 in right. Doug DeCinces is a 5 at third. Dick Schofield is a 7 at short. Bobby Grich an 8 at second. Rod Carew, who is enjoying these playoffs, is a 4 at first. Boone a 6 and an 8 behind the plate, and Romantic a 3 on the mound with a .966 fielding percentage. Garcia went 2 for 5 in game 1. He singled, doubled, scored 3 times, and drove in a run. And Romantic starts his effort with a ground ball to short. Schofield has to wait for it, throws to first, and there's 1 out. And I think the key for the Angels is just be slow and steady. You got 27 outs. Take advantage of it. And obviously don't get down 12 runs. And that's my Frank Gifford quote of the day. Here's Lloyd Moseby. Lloyd went 2 for 3 in game 1. He doubled twice, drove home 2, and scored 3 times. He walked 2. Afternoon playoff baseball today. Playoff baseball tonight, and game 2 of the Dodgers and Cardinals tomorrow afternoon at noon. So you get 3 games between now and 1 o'clock tomorrow. Well, morning. You're on the West Coast. I hope you and Mr. Howard can get together. Pitch to Moseby. There's a ground ball that's going to play Grich. And the problem that plagued the Angels last night is rearing its head here early on today. So it's off Bobby's glove, and that's the 3rd error for the Angels in the series. Here's George Bell, 2 for 3. He homered, doubled, and drove in 5 in game 1. He also walked. So now Romantic just needs to stay focused. He throws to first. Moseby's gone. And that's how you get right back in the saddle. Romantic with a bullet to first. Carew was there. And Moseby makes the first mistake for Toronto. He's caught leaning the wrong way. And there's 2 out for Bell. And they haven't even thrown a pitch. Line drive to Schofield, and that's the inning. So the Jays, no runs, no hits, and 1 error, does not hurt the Angels after 1, no score. So here's Reggie. Reggie 0 for 2 with a strikeout yesterday and walked twice. Game 3 of this series will be Friday night at 8 o'clock. From Anaheim. And then Game 4 will be Saturday at noon. And Game 3 of the Dodger-Cardinal series will be Saturday night in prime time. And then we'll take a couple days off for that. So you get baseball now, a doubleheader today, a doubleheader Saturday, and singletons Thursday and Friday at lunch. Pitch to Reggie. Ground ball to Upshaw. He'll underhand it to Alexander for the out. 1 out for DeCinces, who went 0 for 3 with a walk in Game 1. Ground ball to third. Monix over to first, the long way around, and that's an out. So 2 out. Last night, both teams started tremendously nervous, and then the Blue Jays just kept piling it on and on and on, and the Blue Jays calmed down. Bobby Grich struck out yesterday once. He's 0 for 4 in this ALCS. Ground ball to short. Fernandez has it. Over to Upshaw, and the side is retired. Angels go quietly in the second. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 2, no score. So Upshaw, Barfield, and Witt. Willie, again, 3 for 5 in Game 1. Double, triple, and an RBI. Don't know if that'll be possible. Well, you'll pick us up when you can. John? Supposed to go to Mount Rainier today. Lucky you guys. Oh, I'm talking about D. Scott Howard. But my wife is sick. COVID negative, but she's still paranoid. May postpone Rainier until tomorrow, and friends visiting in on Friday. Yeah. Scotty was talking about that. The wildfires have made the air quality absolutely horrible. A few years ago, on Labor Day weekend, as a matter of fact, there was some wildfires in Quebec that blew down towards us in Vermont. And it was making the inside of buildings hazy. And the smoke was so thick that it just kind of gave the sun that kind of eerie glow. Pitch to Upshaw. Willie swings. Ground ball up the middle. Schofield dives by the bag. Over to first. They got him. So 1 out for Barfield. He did draw a walk last night. And struck out 0 for 4. Romanic's pitch. Ground ball to DeCinces. Diving stop over to first. And the Angels are getting what they need from Ron Romanic, who's only thrown 15 pitches so far. Here's Witt. Ernie, that's solo shot early on. Went 1 for 4. Romanic from the wind. In the right center. Crowd likes that one. Back goes Pettis, way back, and Ernie Witt has his second home run of the ALCS. A solo shot to right center, and the Jays go up 1-0. I don't dare do a replay because the game might crash. But trust me, in the right center, and it was gone. So the first hit of the ball game gives Toronto their first run of the ball game. And with 2 out in the second, the Jays are up 1-0. So here's Rance Mulliniks. Rance 0 for 4 in Game 1 with 2 strikeouts. Liner in the right, going to drop in front of Beniquez. Juan throws it in the infield, and that's a single. This is where Boone should go out and talk to Romanic. Here's Al Oliver. Al, 1 for 4 in Game 1 with a single. He scored twice. Romanic from the stretch. And that's gone. Oh my goodness! That's a rouge! Al Oliver has made it 3-0 Toronto. That one bounces on the football field. And for Al, it's his first of the playoffs. That was a laser shot. And the Blue Jays again get the big inning. Here is Tony Fernandez. He is 2 for 4 with a single, a double, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. And a strikeout. Now Romantic will be able to work from the line now with 2 out. Line drive to Carew, and that will retire the side. But 2 pitches found the seats. Witt to right center, and Oliver down the line. Yeah, I just jinxed Romantic. He hears the secrets that I keep when I talk in my sleep. And so 3 runs on 3 hits and no errors. And the Blue Jays again jump out to a big lead. 3-0 as we go to the third. So Beniquez 1 for 4 in game 1. He singled, struck out, and scored a run. Mr. Howard, how are you? You would think after the first 11 innings of the series that Scotty'd be rooting for the Angels now that it's 3-0. But it was he that sent me the nice picture of Al Oliver, who just hit the big 2-run homer. Beniquez in the left center. That's going to fall down for a base hit. Bell throws it back in. This is what California needs to do. They need to get right back on the saddle, as their boss Gene Autry would say, or sing, and get one back right away. Schofield went 0 for 3 in game 1. Throw to first, and Beniquez is back. So, Cardinals and Dodgers tonight, as the NLCS gets down to business in Los Angeles. Schofield, base hit left side. So Bell will pick it up. Second hit for the Angels. Here's Bob Boone. Remember, Boone was struck out in the 5th last night and thrown out. Alexander from the stretch. There go the runners. It's a double steal attempt, and Beniquez is in there. They did it. The Angels pull off the double steal. And now, for the first time, Toronto's kind of murmuring to itself. Mr. Howard's rooting for a 7-game series to bring up some pitching. Dodgers clinched no pool this time. They will, however, face the National League Cy Young Award winner John Tudor in about 8 hours. So Boone now with a 1-strike count. The Angels aggressive on the base paths. Pitch to Boone. He walked him, and they're loaded. I don't think they mind that. Here's Pettis. He's 0 for 1. Alexander, his opening 9, 2+ innings, 2 hits, 43 pitches, and 2 walks. And for the first time in the series, the Angels look to have some momentum. But they had the bases loaded in the first last night and could not score. Nobody out. Pitch to Pettis. Struck him out. An 0-2 fastball, strike 3. So here's Carew. Rod walked his first time up. The Angels need at least one here. They'll get it. Down the line and right. Beniquez will score. Barfield picks it up. Schofield rounds third and will hold. So they're still loaded, but the Angels are on the board. One hit hard enough to advance, and Boone is not fleet of foot. So Schofield on third, Boone on second, Carew on first. For Downing, who is 0 for 1. And if you're looking to see who's on deck, some guy by the name of Jackson. Miss Janet, if you're nasty. So Alexander burning through some pitches. Delivers, and Downing grounds it to third. Mullenix. They're going to concede the run and try for two. Garcia for one. Down, Upshaw for two, and they turn it. So it won't matter. But the Angels get on the board and get 3 hits. 1 run, 3 hits. They leave on a couple. We go to the bottom of the third here in game 2. 3-1 Toronto. So Romanic's opening 9 as the Angels fans finally come out here. Romanic, he's doing what he had a bad inning in the second, but he only threw 25 pitches for the first 9 batters. 3 hits and the 2 homers, a solo shot to Witt and the 2-run blast by Oliver. Garcia's 0 for 1, and the offense for California finally showing a little bit of life. They play for the bunt, we're swinging. Ground ball to Schofield. Hard throw to first for the out. When 1 away. John went to the DJ John rooting for the Angels. The other John went to the Yems game last night. And yeah, the smoke is tough. The smoke is really tough right now. Here's Mosby. Lloyd is 0 for 1. I think the key right now for California is keeping it a 3-1 game. Ground ball to Carew. 2 out. So if you missed it earlier, Romanik, it was DJ John, one of the Johns said, go with a pitcher with the best endurance. And that's Romanik. He can go 120. He's only thrown 34. Here's Bell. 0 for 1. Sutton and Candelaria in the pen just in case the wheels start to fall off. Into left field. Back goes Downing. 4-1 Jays. If you can't keep the ball in the yard, it doesn't matter what you do the rest of the time. Ron Romanik and Max Scherzer are not mentioned in the same breath. And Bell makes it a 3-run game again. And for George, that's his 6th RBI of this ALCS. Oh, you didn't stay for the game? So here's Upshaw. Well, he 0 for 1 in game 2. Romanik deals. And there's a ground ball to third. To Sensei. Over to Carew. For the out. So that will retire the side. But George Bell having himself a weekend here in Toronto. Solo homer, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 4th, 4-1 Toronto. He's still thrown less pitches than Alexander. Jackson is 0 for 1. Fouled off the mask of Ernie Witt. They ask Ernie where he is. He says Marineland. They said close enough, get back in the ballgame. And the count is 0-1. Line drive right field. Barfield will cut it off, and Reggie has himself a single. So that's the 4th hit for the Angels. Here's DeCinces. He's 0 for 1. Might be 2. Fernandez can't make a play on it. He was trying to do the flip to Garcia before he had it in his glove. And instead of turning 2, it is 1st and 2nd. Nobody out for Bobby Grich. 0 for 1 today. Grich the tying run. California seems a lot more with it today, despite being down 3. Grich Struck him out. Alexander got him to look at a curveball for strike 3. So 1 out for Benitez, who singled and was in that double steal. Benitez only stole 4 bases on the real year. And in the replay, he stole 4 bases. He wasn't thrown out trying to steal. So 2 on, 1 out, 4-1 Jays here in the 4th. Base hit left field. Bell will pick it up. What's Reggie going to do? Reggie's going to hold, and the Angels have him loaded. For Dick Schofield, who is 1 for 1. He singled and stole second. Game 3 is Friday at 8 o'clock. I think. We'll let you know. See what the weather is. But yeah, Game 3 is Friday from Anaheim. That much we know for sure. John's daughter said it was a weird vibe in Seattle. There was nothing family-oriented to do. Everyone was either in line for food or watching the game, and she thinks that the upper concessions were closed because the lines never dissipated. And her can of beer was warm. She wasn't happy. Nobody doesn't like Philly. Now, Seattle's still going for a wild card, right? And I'd imagine with the air quality, the roof was closed. Am I correct on that? So they're loaded here. 4-1 Blue Jays top the 4th. Jackson on third, DeCinces second, Benitez on first. Alexander, ground ball to Fernandez. Tony very deep in the hole. They have no shot to turn 2. They're going to try for Reggie, and they aren't going to get him. Oh, the roof was open last night. Now the doubly sucked. So now it's 4-2. And there's 1 out for Bob Boone, who walked his first time up. And the Blue Jays start to stir. Boone, up the middle. Garcia. They're going to try for 2. Only play is to first. He did not get Schofield. They get Boone, and it's 4-3. Garcia stepped on second and didn't get him. So Boone is the one is safe, so it's 4U on the fielder's choice. But now it's a ball game for Pettis, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Alexander opening 18, 3 2/3, 74 pitches, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Tribe fan getting the white circle of doom. Sorry about that, buddy. So 4-3 Toronto. She said that there were no lines for the bathroom. She saw very few people drinking it. I told her because they burned one before the game. That's why the lines for food for so long. So first and third, 2 out. And don't ask why that popped up. Pitch to Pettis. Ground ball to first. Upshaw should take it to the bag himself. He does, and that will retire the side. But the Angels get 2 runs on 2 hits, and they are Hurts. Got ourselves a ball game, folks. After 3.5, 4-3 Toronto. So Barfield, Witt, and Mullenix to face Romantic. Jesse 0 for 1. Scotty says the air quality near the water wasn't bad yesterday, and even when the roof is closed, the sides of the stadium are wide open. So I guess, yeah, it wouldn't matter. Pitch to Barfield. There's a base hit in the left field, and for Jesse, that's his first hit of the series. So here's Witt. Ernie homered his last time up. You would think, in regards to Twitch and mobile, that considering that the demographic for Twitch is not our age, that the mobile streaming would be right on. That most people, I think, would be watching Twitch on their phones. Pitched a throw to first, Barfield back. The Angels trying to claw back. 4-3 Toronto, bottom fourth. Up the middle, Schofield, that hit the mound. He's going to go to Gritch for one. Bobby will throw to first, and they turn it. 6-4-3. With an assist from the mound, 2 out. Everyone was still hungover from the Seahawks game Monday night. 2 out for Mullenix, who has singled and scored here in game 2. Ground ball to short. Schofield over to first. And that will retire the side. So the Jays, no runs, no hit, or 1 hit, no errors. The double play hurts. We go to the 5th, 4-3 Toronto. So Carew, Downing, and Jackson here in the 5th in a 1-run game. Rod singled, walked, and drove home a run. John's getting this stream on his phone with no interruption or buffing back home. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't. I gotta look over, and it's excellent. You know, I'm hardwired in, so what I'm feeding Twitch is okay. But they have a host of data centers. I think we're doing Ashburn, Virginia seems to be the most common for me. Pitch to Carew. There's a chopper over the mound. Garcia running in. Throws to first, 1 out. Here's Downing. Brian's 0 for 2. In the right, Barfield going back. Jesse will track that down and make the catch. 2 out. Twitch gave me an email with a channel suggestion based on how much I watch this channel. I thought, oh boy, another sports gamer. No, it was someone playing Mario Brothers. Not my cup of tea. I wonder why. Well, we'll throw a couple of banana peels between first and second base for you. So here's Reggie, 2 out here in the 5th. Reggie 1 for 2. He has singled and scored. Ground ball to first. Upshaw underhands it to Alexander, and that will retire the side. A better inning for Doyle. Halfway home in game 2. It is the Blue Jays 4, the Angels 3. Well, if you joined us late, here's how he got here. Donkey Kong was humiliated. And the princess was... oh, no, sorry. Wrong one. Join us late. Here's how he got here. Toronto jumped on the board for 3 in the second. Ernie went a monster home run to right center to make it 1-0. And then Al Oliver, a 2-run BB down the line and right. And the Argos will take a point for that as well. Make it 3-0 Toronto. But California got one right back. Rod Carew, an RBI single to score Juan Beniquez to make it 3-1. Brian Downing hit a double play with the bases loaded. That ended the inning. Toronto got that run back in the bottom of the inning. George Bell with a boomer, his second of this postseason to left center to make it 4-1 Jays. And then California finally put up some fight. Dick Schofield, a fielder's choice to make it 4-2, and then Bob Boone, a fielder's choice to make it 4-3. So both starting pitchers are still in the game. Romantic 5-hitter through 4. All 4 runs are earned. He's hung up 3 pitches that were hammered. Doyle Alexander, a 5-hitter through 5. Just 1 of his 3 runs are earned. He has walked 2 and struck out 2. And that Alexander, right now, the winning pitcher of record. And if you're wondering, the Angels hit 188 in Game 1, and the Blue Jays hit 333 in Game 1. So Oliver, who homered his last time up, Fernandez and Garcia to face Romanek here in the 5th. And there's a fly ball to right. Beniquez in the corner. Foul, and that family from London, Ontario continues to catch foul balls. So 0-2 the count to Oliver. Romanek winds and deals. That's a ground ball. Grich behind the bag, throws to first for the out. 1 away. Tony Fernandez is 0 for 1. Angels, by the way, have left 4 on. The Blue Jays haven't left anybody on. Right field, that's going to drop in front of Beniquez. Fernandez turns for 2. The throw to second is not in time. So Fernandez has his second double of the series. And that'll bring up Garcia. Damaso is 0 for 2. Romanek opening 18. 60 pitches, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 3 home runs. Bell, Witt, and Oliver. To second, Grich has it for the out, over to first, and Fernandez goes to third. So 2 out for Mosby, who's 0 for 2. Base hit. A big insurance run for the Jays, and it's 5-3. Pettis will field it, and the Jays have their 7th hit. Here's Bell. He homered his last time up. And I think we're going to make an executive decision here and go to the pen. So Romanek did the best he really could. They're going to go with they're going to see what they can do with Don Sutton. Sutton technically shouldn't even be pitching in this series. We'll overlook the fact he didn't come until September 10th. He went 5 starts after coming over from Oakland, 40 years old, an extreme fly ball pitcher, and the fastball tops out at 82. He went 3-0 for the Angels down the stretch. 29 2/3 innings, 21 hits, 10 runs, all earned. 4 homers, that goes with it being an extreme fly ball pitcher. 8 walks and 18 strikeouts. So he'll face Bell, who's got a 10% chance of knocking one out right here. Bell, homered last night, homered today. He's now got 2 in the series and driven in 6. 2 out here in the 5th. Bell swings, pops it foul, and the count is 1-2. Sutton can go up to 75 pitches. You know it's Witt in Game 3. And they're not out of this. It's only a 2-run game. Alexander has not pitched all that well. Line drive to Carew. How do you do? And that will retire the side. Jays get an insurance run on 2 hits and no errors. We go to the 6th here in Game 2. Blue Jays 5, Angels 3. So DeCinces, Grich, and Beniquez dug 0 for 2 today with a run scored. Alexander starts the 6th. Ground ball to third. Mullenix. 1 out. I suppose you could go with the 2 lefties in Anaheim. You could go with Witt and Candelaria. But you're kind of in a scramble of who you would go with in a Game 5. Bobby Grich is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Got him! 2-2 on the outside corner. Jimmy Key will pitch game 3 for Toronto. And then we'll see what the computer fatigue says. Benitez is singled twice, stole a base, and scored. 2 for 2. Right center, Mosby rides the Schwinn, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. Angels go quietly into 6, no runs, no hits, no errors. After 5.5, Jays 5, Angels 3. So Upshaw, 0 for 2. Barfield and Witt. Long drive, center field, 6-3. The Jays went to the beer store and opened up a case of whoop-ass. My goodness, that's their 4th homer today. And it's 6-3. Here's Barfield. Jesse 1 for 2. 1 for 6 in the series. Line drive to Carew. 1 out. 8 hits now for Toronto. Here's Ernie Witt. 1 for 2. A solo homer. He has 2 now in the series. Ground ball. Grich. Diving stop in front of the bag. Over to first. 2 out. The wind is blowing out to center at 11. The Maple Leaf blowing out towards Maple Leaf Gardens. 58 degrees here in Toronto. A cool afternoon. Mullenix 1 for 2. And singled and scored. That's extra bases. That's going to get past Pettis. He throws it in, and Rance has a double. I just don't have a good read on this Angels pitching staff, I guess. Apparently the rally monkey doesn't have a passport. Here's Oliver. Al 1 for 2. A homer and 2 RBI here in game 2. In the right, Benitez coming in will make the catch, and that will retire the side. 1 run on another homer by Toronto. 2 hits and no errors. We go to the 7th, 6-3 Jays. So Schofield, Boone, and Pettis to face Alexander. Schofield 1 for 2, has an RBI and a stolen base. Yeah, the Rally Monkey probably didn't get his COVID shot. Pitch to Dick. There's a fly ball to right. Barfield moves over into right center. Makes the catch. 1 out. So a lot like Steve, it looked like for the longest time that Alexander was struggling. But another Blue Jay starter is pitched deep. The Angels now, well, this one isn't over yet, but Mike Witt is really going to feel the pressure on Friday. Boone, RBI, a walk in his 0 for 1. Ground ball to first, Upshaw. 2 out. For Pettis, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. 1 for 7 on the series. Chopper to third. Mullenix is going to misplay it. So Gary's on with an error. And that's the second Toronto error of the ball game. It went under his glove. Here's Carew, who has had a fantastic series. If there's a bright spot for California, it's him. 1 for 2 with an RBI today. Single and a walk. And now 3 for 5 on the series with 2 walks. Throw to first. Pettis is back. 3 runs does not a game make, but California needs to respond. Pitch to Carew. Base hit left field. And so Bell will pick it up, and the tying run is at the plate. Pettis is going to go for third. Let's see if this is a mistake. The throw is not in time. Kind of a skip and a hop, and Carew goes to second. So now Brian Downing at the plate. And with 2 out in the 7th, you don't need to burn Alexander anymore. Jays won't go with Henke. They will go with Cadell. And with 2 out and the tying run at the plate, this is what you did them all year. Here's Cadell with 14 saves. Uh-oh. Some Vancouver colleges are playing home games in Whatcom County in Washington to avoid border issues with U.S. teams. Yeah, I would imagine so. So Cottle cuffs against California, 3 appearances, 3 2/3, 3 hits, 5 runs all earned. He has walked 2, struck out 4, 0-1 with 2 saves. But if you look at that ERA, 12.27. He hasn't pitched since Sunday. He went against the Yankees 2 1/3 in a game the Blue Jays didn't care about. Overall, 40 2/3 in the regular season for Bell. 38 hits, 20 runs, 17 earned, 5 homers. He walked 31 and struck out 28. So 3 4, 14 saves and a 3.76 ERA. They could probably get 6 outs out of Henke. They'd rather not. But the good news is there's a day off tomorrow for Toronto, and so if they need to use Henke for 6 outs, he's going to be fresh in time for Game 3. Well, right now, it's Cottle versus Downing, and Brian is 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to Upshaw, and it worked. Willie steps on the bag, and the side is retired. The Angels straying 2. Stretch time, 6-3, Toronto. If the real-life Jays make the playoffs, you wonder who won't be able to cross the border. I would think there'd be a lot of pressure on teams to, if they have people who haven't gotten the shots to get it. It's a best of 3. Should be interesting because it'd only be for unless the Jays have the better record, it's a 1-game set up there, right? Fernandez, by the way, 1 for 2. He'll face Sutton. He's got a double and a run scored. Fly ball opposite way. Downing will make the catch for the first out. So Sutton has just given up the 1 run. Here's Garcia. Damaso was 0 for 3. Ground ball past Carew. Beniquez will field it. Garcia running for 2, and the throw to Schofield is not in time. And so for Garcia, that's his second double of the playoffs. Here's Mosby. Lloyd 1 for 3 with an RBI. I know Benintendi did originally with Kansas City didn't get his vaccine. But I think he told the Yankees that he would. Pitch to Mosby. There's a base hit into center field. Pettis will pick it up. Garcia will round third and score. And it's 7-3 Toronto. They'll give him Bell, who is 1 for 3. He's homered. He's already driven in 6 in this series. Popped up. Left side to Sensei. Has it for the out. So 2 out for Upshaw, who was 1 for 3. How does who gets the playoff home games work? Based on record, or does the division... Well, in the wild card round, the 3 divisional winners get a bye, right? The division winner automatically gets home field advantage. So Sutton to face Upshaw. Mosby doesn't go, and Upshaw walks, and we're going to make the switch. Donnie Moore. You got to use him. Moore, 67 regular season appearances, 31 years old. Fastball pitcher, 88, and ground ball plus pitcher. They'd have to play, that's right. So top 2 division winners get the bye, and then the third one would obviously get home field in the wild card round. Against Toronto, 3 appearances, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 2 and struck out 2. 1-0 with 2 saves. He last pitched in the Texas series, picking up a save, an inning and a hit. So overall, Moore, 99 innings, 98 hits, 29 runs, 27 earned, 9 homers, 27 walks, and 70 strikeouts. And trying to slam the door here on Toronto. The Angels made it a 1-run game. Then the Blue Jays have a single run here in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Barfield 1 for 3. Struck him out. So the damage is done. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. So the Angels, they got 6 outs. It's not impossible. Cadell coming out to face Reggie, DeCinces, and Grich. We go to the 8th, 7-3 Jays. Reggie 1 for 3. Has singled and scored. Henke loosening in the pen as Toronto gets prepared to make the flight into the States with a 2-game lead. Chopper up the middle. Garcia over to first for the out. 1 out. DeCinces 0 for 3 with a run scored. 3 runs, 6 hits, and error for California. They have left on 6. The Blue Jays 7 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors, and they've left on 4. Left field. Bell. 2 out. For Grich, who's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Not anymore, he's not. That ball was well struck. Way, way back and gone. So Grich gets 1 back. It's 7-4. "410 feet into the left center field. Living in Southern California, you only became an Angels fan when the Dodgers sucked in '79. You were the right age for that. So the Angels have now a shout. Here's Beniquez, 2 for 3. His single twice, scored, stolen a base. Cadell's pitch. Ground ball to third. Mullenix across the way. And that will retire the side. But the Angels at least make it a save opportunity and will give Tom Henke something to think about in the 9th. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. Bottom 8, 7-4 Jays. So Witt, Mullenix, and Oliver to face Donnie Moore. Bernie 1 for 3. He has homered. He now has 2 in the series. Popped up. Right side. Gritch. 1 out. So it looks like the storyline going into Anaheim is that Mike Witt needs to go out there and eat some innings. Because the California Angels have used their bullpen a ton. Here's Mullenix, 2 for 3, single double, and a run scored. And a signed mind told me that last start for Witt on the last day of the season really foobarred the Angels. What we think. Pitch to Mullenix. Rance hits this one into right center. Back goes Pettis. 2 out. Here's Oliver. Al, 1 for 3. A homer and 2 RBI. Yep, they really... Jays left Toronto with a 2-0 lead. This isn't over yet by a mile. But the Jays have looked awful impressive the first 2 games here in Toronto. Pitch to Oliver. Opposite field, Downing in the corner. Makes the catch to retire the side. Well, Tom Henke looks to slam the door. That's right. Playoff baseball is always better on real grass. You got about 7 hours, Scotty. So here's Henke. Henke did not face the Angels. He hasn't pitched since the 6th. He hasn't been in a save situation since September 28th. So overall, 24 2/3, 24 hits, 9 runs, all earned, 4 homers, because the Yankees tattooed him on the 6th, a walk, and 36 strikeouts. So Schofield, Baby, Boone, and Pettis here in the 9th for the Angels. They need 3 to tie and 4 to go ahead. Schofield has an RBI and is 1 for 3 today. Has a stolen base. Ground ball to third. Mullenix across the way. 1 out. Here's Boone. Bob is 0 for 2. He has walked and driven in a run. 7 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Jays. They've left on 4. The Angels, 4 runs, 7 hits, an error, and they've left on 6. Base hit. Down the line. Extra bases. Boone will round first. He might get 2. We'll get 2 out of this. Barfield fishes it out. It plays it on several hops. The throw to second. Boone is in there. His first double. And so here comes Pettis. Gary is 0 for 4. 8th hit for the Angels. Got him! He swung on and missed the curve. And now it's last chance saloon time for California. And it's Rod Carew, who is 2 for 3. Has singled twice, walked, and driven in a run. Peter, Paul, and Mary warming up for Toronto as they're about to leave on a jet plane. Witt and Henke have a conversation. Henke from the stretch. Carew, ground ball to short. Fernandez deep in the hole. Throws to first. And just like real life, the Blue Jays go out west, young man, leading 2 games to none. They beat the Angels here 7-4. So 3 hours and 16 minutes. Just enough time to tell you that NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw is next, except for on the West Coast. 7 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for Toronto. They left on 4. 4 runs, 8 hits, an error for California. They left on 7. Doyle Alexander, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, just 1 earned. He's going to be your digital advice MVP. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Romantic had plus stuff. You can't do any better than that. And so the Angels have got to figure out how in the world they can reverse their fortune when they get home. Because the pitching for them has been not great. And Sutton had plus stuff too. So, there you have it. The Blue Jays will beat the Angels 7-4. And this series is off tomorrow. We'll play it Game 3 sometime on Friday. And let's see what California can do. So, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. The Jays beat the Angels 7-4. They've scored 19 runs the first 2 games. But the onus is on the Jays. They got to win one in California. Or they do. Anyway. All right. Go Dodgers tonight. Cardinals, Dodgers, 8 Eastern. So long, everybody.